What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dorm Debate podcast. Feels good to be back. Feels good to say that again. We're back momentarily for the NFL draft that is in Cleveland on Thursday. We are super excited. We've been waiting so freaking long. There's been like nothing going on except free agent signings, a couple trades, but we're definitely pumped about this because this is like the last thing before months of just waiting until the first game starts. So we're definitely pumped. We got John on hand, and we're going to go over the top 15 picks that we have, and then we'll do a little bit of a game to end off. And I think after this podcast, we'll have one more to kind of give some of our reactions to it. Any trades, any crazy picks that happen. And then we'll see if there's other podcasts that we'll make, but we're excited to be back for this one, and we're going to get into the top 15 right this second. So let me pull it up, and I will start the first pick, which should be no surprise to anybody. So with the first pick in the 2021 NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence, quarterback from Clemson. No real shocker for anybody. He's the best player in this draft. John, take it away for number 2.
Yep. So for number 2, also something we've known for a few months now, and it seems like the draft really starts at number 3. So with the second pick in the 2021 NFL draft, the New York Jets select Zach Wilson, quarterback, BYU. So Jared, we've said for a few months now we knew who the first 2 picks were going to be, and it seems like the draft really starts at the third pick with the 49 trading up. Why don't you give that pick?
So with the third pick, the 49ers select quarterback Mac Jones from Alabama. So this was a tough one for us. We won't go into it just yet, but it was a toss-up between Mac Jones and Trey Lance, and we'll give our reasoning after. So with the fourth pick, John?
With the fourth pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Kyle Pitts, tight end, Florida. The best player in this draft that is not a quarterback, in most people's opinion, not in my opinion. I'll tell you who I think is the best player in this draft that's not a quarterback, but the Falcons, Pitts will be a great addition to the Falcons offense, especially with, I don't know if it's smokescreen, but the talk that Julio Jones could be on his way out in Atlanta. They definitely need another pass catcher, don't you think?
I agree with that 100%. And I'm full-heartedly agreeing with this next pick. With the fifth pick, the Cincinnati Bengals select Penn Sewell, offensive lineman from Oregon. And it's basically no secret they need to protect Joe Burrow after last season. With his injury, he really can't take any more hits.
Yeah, definitely great pick for the Bengals. Play it safe. I know Chase is going to be very tempting there if he's available because of his experience with Burrow, but definitely got to protect Burrow. That's the number one priority. And with the sixth pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU. Now, we know they want to surround guys around Tua that can make plays, and this guy can definitely make plays. I think he is the best player in this draft that is not a quarterback. He has great hands. He can extend the field. He's super fast. He's faster than people think. He ran a great 40 time. And when you look at these top 3 receivers, Chase is the guy that has the best hands. And we know that speed is important and route running is important. But if you can't catch and if you can't make spectacular plays, you're gonna have a hard time in the NFL. So I think Chase is a great addition to this Dolphins offense.
Smart pick. Number 7, the Detroit Lions select another receiver, Jalen Waddle out of Alabama. Now, for me, this was a no-brainer. They were going to pick a receiver because they lost Galladay. They lost Marvin Jones. They need someone who Goff can throw to. Jalen Waddle is going to be that guy.
Right. Yeah. I don't think they had any other receivers on the depth chart. Really, I don't even know who they had. So great pick for the Lions. So with the 8th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Panthers trade the pick to the New England Patriots. Trade up. We might finally see Bill Belichick pick a quarterback in the first round for the first time in a long time. So, with the 8th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State. What a crazy trade up and pick. The Patriots get just in right before the Broncos. Who knows if the Broncos will pick a quarterback, but what do you think of that trade up by the Patriots? Was it worth it?
Yeah, I like the trade up, but I don't like the player, man. You don't take Ohio State quarterbacks. That's the number one rule. It's a golden rule of football. You don't take Ohio State quarterbacks. It's not a good history. I mean, I think like 3 out of the 5 that have come out in the last 10 years are receivers now.
I could definitely agree with that, and we'll expand on it.
With the 9th pick, the Denver Broncos select another quarterback, and there's only really one left. Quarterback Trey Lance from North Dakota State. This was a one that we're going to talk about after, but it's a toss-up for us. I think we kind of relied on the experts and everyone around us saying that they're going to take a quarterback. I know, John, you said that the ownership was saying that they liked Locke, but maybe that's throwing some teams off. So, but it won't throw off the Patriots because they're going to trade right before them and get their guy. So talk about your favorite team, John.
You mean my least favorite team? With the 10th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Patrick Surtain, cornerback from Alabama. And this is a guy who's undoubtedly the top cornerback in this draft. You know, his dad played in the NFL for a long time, and the Cowboys definitely need help on defense. And it's going to be interesting to see if Jerry Jones can hold his ground and not pick an offensive player. But I think they make the smart decision here and get Surtain to help that defense, which was historically bad last year.
Your team, the Giants, pick, and this is your guy. This is the guy that you want. With the 11th pick, the New York Giants select wide receiver Devontae Smith, Heisman winner from Alabama. Now, this is the 3rd receiver taken, yet he could be one of the best, John.
He could be one of the best. His route running is undoubtedly the best out of the top 3 receivers. I mean, Heisman Trophy winner. You can't say much else. Mm-hmm. Now, if it wasn't for Waddle's injury earlier in the year, yes, maybe Smith wouldn't have won the Heisman Trophy. He probably wouldn't have, but he's still a great player, great route runner. And a lot of people are concerned about his weight, but I don't care. I need Devonta Smith on the Giants. I don't care that we got Galladay because Galladay is injury prone. Slayton is good, and Shepard is injury prone. So we need more weapons around Daniel Jones so he can take the next step. So I really hope the Giants get a wide receiver, and I really hope it's Devonta Smith. With the 12th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, Philadelphia Eagles select Micah Parsons, linebacker from Penn State. I mean, he is undoubtedly the best linebacker in this draft. We saw all the highlights from Penn State. He flies all over the place. What a big player he would be for the Eagles defense. What do you think of this pick?
I love this pick. And, you know, we were talking before this podcast, they need a culture change. They got new coaches, they got new ownership. And really the only other position besides quarterback to really bring in a new culture is to have a new linebacker, a new leader of the defense. And they weren't the greatest defense last year, so this will help a crap ton. With the 13th pick, I'll claim them, my Los Angeles Chargers. Even though I was a Cardinals fan, I move around a little bit. The Los Angeles Chargers with the 13th pick select cornerback J.C. Horn from South Carolina. I'm a big fan of this pick, mainly because we lost Casey Hayward to free agency.
With Derwin James coming back, J.C. Horn you could throw in there. He's also the son of a former NFL player, Joe Horn, from wide receiver from the Saints. So he knows how to play cornerback. I'm sure he's covered his dad. I don't know. His dad might be a little old now, but J.C. Horn is definitely a great player, and he's going to be a great addition. And honestly, I think with James coming back, you get Horn, a very good cornerback, and you get a new coach. I think this defense can take the next step this year. And with the 14th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Christian Darasaw, offensive line from Virginia Tech. He's a great player. He's not the top tackle or offensive lineman, but he is a great player. He's been linked to the Vikings throughout this whole draft process, and he's going to be a great addition to help protect Kirk Cousins there.
I love it. And with the last pick for us, the 15th pick, was the Patriots. Now is the Carolina Panthers for us. The Panthers select offensive lineman Rashawn Slater from Northwestern. Pretty simple pick here. I think they're going to go with the offensive lineman with their pick. That's just because they traded for Sam Darnold. And what did the Jets not do? They didn't protect Darnold. They didn't put weapons around him. And not a lot of weapons to take, but they don't need it because they have DJ Moore and they got what's his name, Robbie Anderson. Yeah. So they did lose Curtis Samuel, but you got Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and the best running back, potentially one of the best running backs in the league, in Christian McCaffrey. So plenty of weapons. All you have to do is protect him. So I think that's a good pick. What do you think, John?
Yeah, definitely a great pick. I would say the same thing. Got to protect your new quarterback. And we were talking before the podcast started, we wanted to just quickly throw in the 16th pick. The Arizona Cardinals would select offensive line Aaliyah Vera Tucker from USC. I don't know. We were talking before to our viewers. We don't really know why they're going to make this pick, but it just makes sense.
Yeah, it's consider it already done is what I'm saying.
It's going to happen. Just like Najee Harris to the Steelers. Like, it's just going to happen.
Yeah, we'll throw those in. Najee Harris to the Steelers 24th pick. That's just something we both see happening. But so now you know the top 15. We're going to go into a couple that you may be thinking, like, what are they doing? What are they thinking? We'll start with the third pick with the 49ers. So Mac Jones seems like the perfect quarterback for Kyle Shanahan's system. But I personally, I favored Trey Lance with this pick only because when they lost in the Super Bowl, they lost to Patrick Mahomes, who is not extremely mobile, but his scrambling ability is kind of what makes him Mahomes. He keeps plays alive and throws downfield when there's, the plays are basically dead. The play's dead and he's just running around. And I think Trey Lance is that guy. I think Trey Lance he has the speed to definitely be able to scramble and run around. I'm not expecting him to be like a Cam Newton and have plays drawn up for him. But when you look at Mac Jones, he is a bigger set guy. I mean, he's got a gut on him. He's not going to be able to run around a lot. And I guess, John, that's why you like him in Shanahan's system.
Yeah, definitely. I think out of all the top 5 quarterbacks, he was the quarterback that ran out of the pocket the least out of all 5 of them, which makes sense because watching their highlights, you see the other guys scrambling. You see Lance probably the most out of all of them running around. But one thing I would say, other than the fact that Mac Jones does fit Shanahan's system perfectly because of his experience with Garoppolo, Matt Ryan in Atlanta, and also Kirk Cousins, I would say the thing about Lance is that he's not he technically could start week 1, but he's not really ready. He's the least ready out of these top 5 quarterbacks. He only played 17 games at North Dakota State, and that's in the FCS. That's not against the top competition that Mac Jones faced. So he's a guy that he hasn't played the competition, and he could use a year or two in the NFL, maybe behind Garoppolo. Now, maybe that is Shanahan's purpose. Maybe he does want Garoppolo to start, and then, oh, maybe if Garoppolo gets injured, Lance can come in. But I really think he wants Mac Jones. I think he wants a guy who could start day one. Mac Jones set a record for completion percentage with 77% this past year. And granted, Devonta Smith was open on every play. He still needed to get it to him. So I think Mac Jones, with all the accolades, all the records he set at Alabama, even starting just for this past year, I think he's the guy for the 49ers.
We'll go on to the next pick, just touch on a little bit. The Falcons picking Kyle Pitts. Now, we originally had Trey Lance going to the Falcons, but there was some news that came out on Monday. We're shooting this Tuesday, that they're shopping Julio Jones, which basically to me says that they want to get another weapon, a younger weapon. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I thought the same thing when I saw that news come out that the Falcons are willing to trade Julio Jones. First of all, I was shocked because he is a great player now. He was injured last year. I know one of us had him in fantasy. You guys know, our viewers, when you have these guys in fantasy, you know all about their injuries. And he was injured most of the year. Jared had him on his fantasy team, and then I picked him up, and he had a couple good games, and then he was injured again. But definitely with him being shopped by the Falcons, that says to me that they need another weapon, because you can't just go into next season with just Calvin Ridley as your weapon. You need another weapon. And although they do have Hayden Hurst, he didn't step up like we all thought he would. So Kyle Pitts is basically a wide receiver. He's super fast. He's basically Julio Jones. You could split him out wide if you want. So great pick for the Falcons. Definitely add another weapon if you're going to get rid of Julio Jones.
Mm-hmm. And these are just ones we're touching on as far as the Bengals. I think the majority of people think that they're going to want to protect Joe Burrow. A lot of people say maybe Jamar Chase will get picked here, but I think they have plenty of weapons. I just don't see them picking Chase. Like, Chase is a great player. Like, there's nothing against Chase at all, but I think at this pick, it's about fit and it's about catering to your quarterback.
They definitely need to get Sewell. And like you said, if it wasn't for Burrow's injury, the horrific injury against Washington last season, then I think they'd get Chase here. But like you said, it's just too important, and Sewell is very good. And if you're the Bengals, you're hoping that you're not going to be in the top 10 draft picks next year. So when are you going to get your offensive lineman? Like, when are you going to protect Burrow? Hopefully this is the lowest you're going to draft for a long time. Get your offensive lineman and protect Burrow so you could start to win games.
Yeah, there's a couple teams in this top 5 that I see could make a tremendous jump into potentially into the playoffs. Bengals 1, I think 49ers 2. 49ers have a great defense, all coming back, barring any injuries. That was probably the worst season for them. Just very unlucky. I think Bengals have that same thing, to where they have a lot of young talent, and it's just about coming together at the right time. And the Steelers in their division, they could drop at some point. They had a horrific ending to a great season, and they may not have the momentum carrying into this season and lose a couple games, but I think Bengals are going to be hungry for a playoff. The next one, I think you're all probably wondering, is the 8th pick. So the Patriots trade up and Panthers trade down. Patriots pick up Justin Fields. Now, John, why do you think they pick up Justin Fields instead of Trey Lance?
I think so. My main reasoning for the Patriots getting Fields instead of Lance here is the same reasoning I had for the 49ers. So I don't think Belichick is looking for a guy that's going to take 2-3 years to really develop and get into his own. I think Fields is more pro ready than Lance. And I think Fields has more accuracy and is a more talented thrower. Now, Lance definitely scramble. He can definitely run. And we saw Belichick mold his offense a little bit more around Cam Newton this past year. But I don't think I don't think he's looking to go from Newton to Lance would be an even more of a jump to a mobile quarterback. But going from Newton to Fields is about the same, you know. So I think that's my reasoning, is that he's looking for somebody that's more ready and more of a pocket passer than Lance is, even though the league is going to all these, mobile quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Michigan fan, so don't take this seriously, but kind of take it seriously. You don't take a Ohio State quarterback. If there's any other quarterback, you'd rather take them, because in 3 to 5 years, Justin Fields is going to be a receiver in the CFL, and Trey Lance is probably going to be a backup at the very least. So I don't know. I think we differ as far as Lance's ability. I think if we had to rank quarterbacks for you, I think maybe Mac Jones and Lance are kind of at the bottom as far as like predicting their future.
Yeah.
And I think I would just swap. I would say Lance is above Mac Jones just off of the game nowadays. With being able to run isn't everything,
Right.
but he has a way better arm than Lamar. Like, he can make deep throws. Like, he can make all the throws. And I think, didn't he have I don't think he has like any interceptions. He has like one.
Yeah, I think I did see a stat that he set some record for like most completions or pass attempts without an interception or something.
Yeah, which honestly, Justin Fields did the same thing. He only had like a couple 2 years ago. But yeah, he makes great decisions, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones isn't going to get any faster, is what I'm trying to say. So
Right.
if there's anyone to pick here in this day and age, it's the guy who's the fastest and has a good arm. I would say great arm and great decision making. That's what you want in a quarterback. So, the Broncos taking Trey Lance, that's we had a lot of trouble picking with the Broncos because originally we had an offensive lineman, but the biggest problem for the Broncos year in and year out is quarterback. So that's why we have Trey Lance.
Yeah, definitely. Lance has got to go to the Broncos because I saw something that Drew Lock was like the 33rd or 34th rated quarterback in terms of like Pro Football Focus or something. Like, he was really bad last year. He was injury prone, but he also threw a lot of interceptions. And you have this receiving core of Jerry Jeudy. Cortland Sutton is coming back from, his ACL injury. You got Tim Patrick. You have Deshaun Hamilton. You got KJ Hamler. Like, you got Noah Fant at tight end. Like, how many more weapons? You have enough weapons. Like, get the guy. Now you need a guy who can throw to them.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction is that they get Lance at 9. They go into the season, lock him games, and he's going to be so bad that week 4, Lance is going to get thrown in there, and he's going to start the rest of the year.
The predictions are starting for the next season. Trey Lance with week 4 coming in.
Yes, that is week 4 starting.
Okay. Last year we had Jalen Hurts starting by week 6, and I was close. I think it was like 4 weeks late, or 4 weeks early. Do you want to talk about Devontae Smith, the Giants, just a little bit? Because you're a Giants fan, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said before, Jamar Chase to number 6 to the Dolphins, he's the ideal player. I'd love to get Jamar Chase there, but he's not going to last to 11. And then Jalen Waddle to the Lions could be swapped out with Devonta Smith. We were discussing that earlier. We don't really know who's going to go to the Lions because they obviously need a wide receiver with who they got rid of. We think Waddle is the better option. Everybody's saying now that he's past his ankle injury, he could be Tyreek Hill 2.0. So he's super fast. But when I was watching his tape, I didn't see any great hands. I didn't see any great catches. And like I was saying before, you need to be able to catch the ball. Devonta Smith has had some great catches. We need to get another receiver, have Devonta Smith on one side, Galladay on the other, have Slayton coming in, have Shepard in the slot, Engram. We need Daniel Jones, get Barkley back. We need to give Daniel Jones all these weapons. So if he fails this year, if he doesn't, perform the way he should, then we can say he's to blame and we need to get a quarterback. But you can't have Sterling Shepard in every other week and expect Daniel Jones to go off. You just can't do that.
A lot of people, when they look at the Giants, they'll say Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. What do you think of Daniel Jones after seeing him for 2 years?
I think he's definitely got the potential to take the next step. And I think we're going to see that this year. If the Giants draft a wide receiver, we're going to see him really take the next step. Our defense was great. He just needs to get a little more comfortable in the system. And don't forget, we had a new coach. He came in with Pat Shurmur. Now we had a new coach last year, Joe Judge. Like he needs some consistency in the coaching and the offensive playbook. So once he gets that, now this is going to be his second year in the system. Now he's going to have the chance to excel. He gets Barkley back. So, he's always had all these changes. Like the first year, it was like new system, new coach coming to the NFL. Then the next year, new coach, new offensive coordinator, and then Barkley was gone and injury-prone wide receivers. So we haven't really seen his full potential, I don't think, yet. I think we're going to see that this year, and I'm really excited to see that. And I really hope we get a wide receiver at 11.
Okay, to end off the podcast, we're going to do a little game. It wouldn't be Dorm Debate if we didn't have a game segment. And the game that I came up with was, it's going to be a question to John. John's going to be playing. I'm going to be the moderator. Who was a higher draft pick? That's the question I'll be asking. I will name 2 players. He has to tell me who was the higher draft pick. Higher meaning, 1, 2, 3, whatever. Okay, the first one, Aaron Rodgers or Johnny Manziel, who was the higher draft pick?
So
can you remember Johnny Manziel being drafted?
I don't. Well, obviously he went to the Browns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know Rodgers' story was, I remember seeing the videos. You always see the story of him sitting at that table at the draft, and he slid all the way back, I want to say to like 15, 16 or something like that. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure Manziel with him, and I remember watching him in college. He just lit up the scoreboard. So I'm gonna say that Manziel was in the top 10. I don't know exactly where, but I think that Rodgers was around 15, 16. So I'm gonna go with Manziel on this one.
It's actually Manziel, you're right, but a different range. Johnny Manziel was the 22nd pick.
Oh, shoot.
And Rodgers was the 24th pick.
Oh, my gosh.
He dropped.
Really? Manziel was that low?
Yeah, I actually remember this because everyone was expecting the Cowboys to pick him up, and they didn't. And once the Cowboys didn't pick him up, he just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. So I do remember him being a late pick. And then, like you said, Rodgers, there's always that video of him like sitting, waiting to get picked. Yeah. All right. So you got that one right.
Yes.
Number 2, we're going to running backs. Ezekiel Elliott or Melvin Gordon. Who was drafted higher?
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember Melvin Gordon being drafted. I know the Chargers drafted him, but I don't really remember that. I remember Zeke from Ohio State. I mean, I want to say, all right, can you give me a hint? Where did Melvin Gordon go to college?
Wisconsin.
Really?
They breed running backs.
Yeah, they do. All right, I'm going to go with, I don't really know. I'm just going to take a guess here. I'm going to go with Melvin Gordon.
It's incorrect. It was actually Ezekiel Elliott. Where do you think Melvin Gordon would have gone?
Maybe like between 15 and 20.
Yeah, he went 15th. And Elliott went 4th.
And then Zeke.
Would you say that was a good pick? Ezekiel Elliott?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. He's a great player. I think, obviously, we always criticize the Cowboys, but he's a great player. And, I mean, when you get a guy like that, when you know you're going to have a top 5 running back in the NFL for the next 10 years, you definitely draft him. Like Zeke, Barkley, Kamara, McCaffrey, you draft them as high as you need.
Okay. All right. So you're 1 for 2. Next, we're going to receivers. This was more recent, so you should remember this. This was a very memorable moment. Calvin Ridley or Justin Jefferson. Who was drafted higher?
I know. All right, so the pick for Ridley and the pick for Jefferson, they have to be like within 3 of each other.
Basically, they're within 4.
Yeah, super close. I'm trying to remember. I think the Cowboys had like the 21st pick when Jonathan really wanted them to pick Ridley. So I think Ridley went 25 to the Falcons. So I'm going to guess the Vikings this past year. There's no way they were the 29th pick. So I'm going to go with Jefferson was a higher pick.
Jefferson?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson was 22nd.
Okay.
And Ridley, you were pretty spot on. He was 26th.
Okay.
Very well done. All right, now we're getting tougher. These are the 2 hardest ones. Okay. Right now you're 2 for 3.
Yeah.
Who was drafted higher, Jalen Ramsey or Denzel Ward?
This one's easy for me.
You remember?
I remember. I will never forget this because we were so perplexed by the Browns pick. They go Baker at 1, Darnold goes 2 to the Jets, Barkley obviously goes 3 to the Giants, and then the Browns have the 4th pick and they go Denzel Ward, and we were like, what the heck is up with this? I have to be honest with you, no idea what Jalen Ramsey is, but he must have been in the 20s. But I'm definitely going with Denzel Ward at the 4th pick.
Denzel Ward was drafted higher than Jalen Ramsey, but not by much. So the didn't the Browns take him at 3? They took him at 4. Sorry, they took him at 4.
4, yeah.
So Denzel Ward was 4, Ramsey was 5. Not in the same draft, obviously, but Ramsey was 5th.
5?
Yeah.
What draft was that?
2016. Yep. First round pick, number 5.
I can't believe he went that high. He must have been really good. I forget where he went to school.
Florida State. He was pretty good, but the whole team sucked.
Yeah, Florida State has great corners. I think Asante Samuel is out of Florida State this year.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. The last one. You're 3 for 4. This is a pretty good percentage.
Okay.
Who was drafted higher, Khalil Mack or Aaron Donald?
Oh my gosh.
Really testing your draft expertise here.
You really are. All right. I know Khalil Mack went to University at Buffalo. Got drafted by the Raiders. I want to say he was around like somewhere between 8 and 10, but I'm not sure. And Donald, there's no way Donald was drafted high. He's like, I think he's one of those guys that had like a great story, like put in the work and really got better than Mack. I'm going to say Khalil Mack. I think he was a better prospect coming out of college than Donald was.
Do you know where Donald went?
No.
University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't think he got drafted before Mack.
That's correct. You got 4 out of 5. Well done. So
right,
Khalil Mack.
What were the picks?
Khalil Mack was 5.
Okay.
And Aaron Donald was 13.
Okay.
Still pretty high.
Yeah, that's higher than I thought. I would have thought he was in the late teens or 20s just because of, I don't know, I feel like every time I hear his name, they're always talking about like how he just works out a lot and he's just gotten bigger by himself. He wasn't drafted as like this really great player.
Now, with that game being done, if I were to test you and say, who is your steal of the draft? We'll leave it at this. We'll give your steal of the draft and my steal of the draft. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
My steal of the draft is just so obvious. He's the best running back in this draft. He's a mix of Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey. And it's Chris Evans out of the University of Michigan. There's no BS at all. This guy is the perfect prototyped running back for this game. He's probably, I'm not going to say probably, he is the best receiving back in this draft. I take him over Travis Etienne. This guy was a slot receiver in high school, converted to running back, so he's got great hands, very shifty, and not only that, but he's a great running back, can really juke people out, and has great speed. So that just fits the build for a great running back. I don't know where he's going to get drafted, but I mean, if you think of the top running backs, Kamara, McCaffrey, even Cook is starting to do that. They all can receive. That's the X factor that they have to put them above other running backs. So Chris Evans out of Michigan. And if you didn't know, we have we have an interview with him. It's our last post. You can go watch it. It was great. He's a great guy, really funny. And yeah, so Chris Evans is my steal of the draft.
That's a great steal of the draft. I think he's a great player. Like you said, the receiving is his X factor. He might need to put on a few pounds to run between the tackles in the NFL, especially with those bigger guys like Donald in there. But out of the backfield, you can't question his agility, his speed, his hands. They're all great. So I'm super excited. We're going to be watching on draft day, whether it's round 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. We're going to be rooting for him and really excited for wherever he goes, and so he can continue his journey and his story. So my steal of the draft is somebody who's ranked maybe not as low as Chris Evans, but it's also an offensive player. I have wide receiver Elijah Moore as my steal of the draft. We have Rondale Moore in the first round, but we don't have Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is going to go at the beginning of the second round. I think he's a great slot receiver out of Ole Miss. He's going to get drafted and he's going to play the slot. He's going to be a great receiver. If you watch his highlights, his quickness, his hands, he's like, basically I would compare him to like a Randall Cobb. He's super good, super fast, super quick, and he's going to make an immediate impact. I wouldn't be surprised if he, tested these top 3 wide receivers, Chase, Waddle, and Smith for Rookie of the Year at their first year.
Interesting. Ole Miss, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown,
Eli Manning.
Dude, they're starting to be wide receiver U over there. Elijah Moore. All right, that's a great steal of the draft. I like that. All right, well, that's going to conclude our NFL draft episode. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts. If you disagree with any of our picks, we want to hear it. Hopefully you bared with us through this podcast. This is our first one in months. It's been a while. We're getting back into it. But hopefully you guys enjoy the draft coming up on Thursday, and look for a new episode next Tuesday. Hopefully we can get everyone here, and we will see you guys next Tuesday.